Hello and welcome to Skeindeer Knits. My name is Ellie and I am a Norwegian living and knitting in London. And you can find me on Instagram as Skeindeer, and I am Skeindeer Knits as a designer on Ravelry. And don't forget my Ravelry group, Skeindeer Knits, which is the best place to get in touch and get help with patterns and stuff like that. Welcome to new viewers. This is where I normally make a weekly video about what I knit, what I design, knitting stuff. But I've not been around since I think November. I did do Vlogmas until about the 17th, where I just kind of had to prioritize certain things. I am going to get into knitting fairly quickly, but I do want to start off with some personal stuff because this is kind of significant. So for returning viewers, you're gonna be very happy to hear that I have indeed completed my PhD thesis. And I feel nothing. I am very, very happy, but I don't even feel relief. I feel nothing. I'm just like, it's submitted. It's done. I don't have to sit and write all the time. Wow. So I need friends to like tell me that, wow, what an achievement. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I've started this thing in 2014. And there's been some ups and downs, and it's been a lot. It's I am not the same person I was when I started that PhD. Little 24-year-old Ellie, now soon turning 31. So a lot of things have happened, including procrastinating to the point that I started a knitting business. This whole thing. So that happened. I really don't know what else to add to that. We're now planning when I'm going to defend my thesis, which in the UK is basically when you and two examiners talk for a day and they decide whether you pass or not. And when you pass, you usually either get no, minor or major revisions. I'm gonna guess that I'm probably gonna get some revisions. I don't know if I'm gonna get minor or major, so I'm probably still gonna have to work a little bit more on the thesis, but that's where we're at right now. So maybe in half a year it will be like properly done. I don't know. But that's where we're at. And so now that we have that out of the way, we have a lot to get through in this video. Mostly because I haven't done this in a while, but also because I will be listing the knit-alongs that I'm running. I will be wrapping up 2 knit-alongs with 7 prizes. So if you took part in those, pay attention. I might mention your name or not, I don't know. Then I'm going to be talking about everything that I've finished since last time, which is actually quite a lot. And then I'll be talking about everything I have acquired, which is right next to me here. It's quite a bit as well. So that's this episode. It's gonna be a long one. I am gonna be wrapping up the annual, I guess, Skeindeer Knits Garment Kal. We ran it for the first time in 2020, and from public consensus, from having talked to you guys, I've understood as much that we need this knit along again in 2021. I need this knit along again in 2021. Having seen so many of you knit up my garment patterns when everything else this year has just been, there are no words, right? That's been really nice. It's been amazing. It's really kind of kept me going this year. Yeah, so without further ado, let me show you the last ones that I haven't included in previous videos. I hope you enjoyed that. That's that knit along over, and I will be announcing prices in just a bit, but I just wanted to say that we now are running the Skeindeer Knits Garment Kal of 2021. The rules are the same. The garments have to be started and finished in 2021. I am still kind of running the Cyber Knit clubs Kal, where we're knitting all 3 Cyber knitting clubs, partially because I forgot to start a finished objects thread, so it's gonna last until the end of January, and then we'll be doing another price Kal thingy then. Which finally leads me to announcing prizes for the 2 knit alongs that I have wrapped up, the Skeindeer Knits Garment Kal of 2020 and the Midwinterdeer Kal, the Mr. Knit along that I ran during Christmas. The first prize I have to give away is yet another copy of Strikk med gradienter, a garment collection with a lot of patterns. A pattern collection full of patterns that you can make with gradients or not. It includes my skumring pattern and a lot of other patterns. There's a lot of patterns in this one. It is only in Norwegian, so I am very glad that the winner of this prize is Swedish, so I hope your Norwegian is like there. The Woolly Whiskers for having made a gorgeous modified Otra. Also, for anyone who wonders how I decide winners, I go to random.org and I put in numbers, and that's how that works. So congratulations, Linda. Do get in touch. Just send me a message on Ravelry with your address and I shall have it shipped to you. And this will be the case for everyone who wins. And should you by any chance be unable to use it, Ravelry, then you can of course message me on Instagram, I guess. So that's that. The next prize is incredibly luxurious, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to include this because this is actually from Stash. These are some of the fanciest skeins I have ever owned. Weirdly enough, never actually knitted with them, and they're too precious to go to waste. This is 2 amazing camel silk skeins. They have 400 meters each. One is by Travel Knitter and the other one is hand dyed by Kate, and they are the exact same base, just one is grey and one is red, and they're dyed by different dyers. But yeah, so, and it's not tangle, it's just such a smooth yarn. Oh, it's amazing. So without further ado, I am very happy to announce that the winner for that, I'm gonna have to look at my screen, is lorelei.knits. She did a really nice red Pure Fuzz, so I hope that means you like red yarn. Yeah, drop your message on the Ravs and you shall receive. Now, I was given some amazing prices from you guys that I haven't even had time to show you because I haven't recorded anything since then. One of them was Ragnarsdottir, who makes knitting bags in Iceland, and I have shown this on Vlogmas, but of course we'll show you here right now as well. She makes these adorable like knitting needle cases where you can put your stitch markers and needles. There's like a bent darning needle here, and with this thing is also a huge project bag. This one is massive and it's also made by her, and I decided these can go together to a winner. And along with this comes with a Wollmeise mini skein that I just thought would just add a little extra pop to this prize. And so I drew a winner, and the winner is enneitanod. I'm gonna put that there because you made a lovely Synchestra cardigan. I thought that was really nice, and so did Random Number Generator. So you are gonna win this. Again, drop a message and you shall, with your address, and I will send this to you. The final prize is, I want to keep it, but actually I do get to keep it because it was sent to me by one G-uld, who also sent me one, and one by Strikkebaglady, my friend Ingvild, who also sent me one, so I don't get to complain. What's in here is first the crinkleless galore bag of G-uld yarn. This is 6 different colors in their lamb's wool, and they dye natural something, I don't know the jargon. I love G-uld, I love their yarn, I love their bases, I love their colors, just yes. And this bag by Strikkebaglady. I have shown you this bag before. I did get an identical one, but I don't know where I put it, so I wish I could show you. But it is gorgeous. Presentation and everything. I'm not taking it out of here for the winner, but this is the grand prize. This is So anyway, without further ado, the winner is CatarinaLobato, who I have met, I believe, because she made an amazing Isbre sweater. So yeah, get in touch. I shall send this out to you. I literally just went through all this random number generator thing and assigning the winners to the different prices, and I wish I had like 5 times as many prices because there were so many amazing garments. I almost wept, but I try to keep my makeup on because we're gonna record, and it's so nice to see all the guys' knits in that thread, all the garments, everything. I'm very bad with words and like making into words what that means, but it means things, so thank you. It's made me really happy. It makes me very happy every time I go through that thread. Yeah, so thank you. We'll do this again next year. As ever, if people want to have their products showcased on the podcast, links below, there will be links to all these prize peoples below, everyone who's donated. Then you can send me stuff if you want to have those as prize. I can't talk. I haven't talked to people in a while. Lockdown. Who's feeling it? Anyway, the other KAL that we're wrapping up is the MIDWINTDEER KAL. I haven't really been able to talk much about it on the podcast. Every year I run a Christmas mystery mitten KAL, and last year, it's 2021 now, I did so too. Just due to peer pressure from you guys. But I finally had a really nice idea for what I wanted to do on a Christmas mitten design, and it was very much suitable for a mystery, and so I did, and you guys took part in it, like so many. I think I am absolutely forced to do this every year. I have no choice. And it was so much fun, and it went super smooth this year, which, as someone who's been running that mystery KAL every year and a PhD, hasn't always been the case, I will admit, but this year was just like, oh, thanks to my tech editor, thank you so much. Anyway, first winner is going to win this. So this is a HiyaHiya needle organizer. They're really neat because they weigh nothing, and I just happen to be giving mine away because I have too many, because I buy too many of these. But you can normally fit a lot of needles in one set, more than what comes in the set. So they're just giving away one of mine. This is entirely unused. And along with that is one of the prizes that I've been giving to the podcast by Crealinen Design, a self-striping skein in the brightest of colors. It is so happy. I think this was actually the skein that I was initially going to keep, and I still have doubts. I still kind of want to keep it, but I kept another one instead. So this one's going to go out to the winner along with this needle organizer. And that winner is Babsbutterfly, both on Instagram and on Ravelry. And you win these. So drop a message on Ravelry, preferably, but Instagram if you can't, and give me your address, so this will be sent to you. Congratulations, and thank you so much for taking part. The next prize is not entirely knitting themed. It does come with a kit of yarn by S-Twist Wool, Irish craft yarn, and this is the color work set with 4 different colors, along with a Norwegian chocolate, because my mom sent me so much chocolate. There's more than I could ever eat, so I thought I'll send this to someone in the world who may not be able to get Norwegian chocolate, so you get that. This is made in a factory that's like, I could probably walk there from where my registered Norwegian address is, you know, like it's local. So the winner of that is AliciaLouKnits. Again, I'll be writing that on there because I have my laptop very far away from where I'm sitting, and I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But anyway, congratulations and thanks for taking part. I hope you enjoyed the Mr. Knit-along, and I'll see you next year on that. Finally, I have another skein from Stash to give away. This is by Primrose Yarn Co., a NCN, Merino Cashmere Nylon base, in this beautiful, wow, there we are, colorway. And this is soft, guys. This is soft. The colorway is Sweater Weather. And along with this skein is another bag. This is more of a notions bag by Ragnarsdottir from Iceland. Oh, I want to keep this. But do you need 3 notions bags, Ellie? I don't think you do. It even has a tiny little pocket on the inside. This is just so nice. I nearly gave it to my flatmate because she needs a notions bag, but I can't because this was given to me for prizes. So I really hope you're gonna like this. Along with it does come language, English, what is it? These needles, this little needle case thing. We hope there was some focus. There is no focus. Focus is a lie. Yeah, I've had some problems with the focus on my camera lately. But yeah, I love these. I have one of these for myself as well that I was given by Gudrun, and it just lives in my notions bag, and it's just really nice. As long as I keep it upright, and it can just sit in there, and I have all my needles in there, which is so much better than the tiny little Ziploc bag I used to before. So much better. So anyway, that's a 3-item prize for you right there. And the winner of that is PattyMach. Pronunciation is never my strong suit, but it will go here. And yeah, get in touch with your address and this will be sent to you as thanks for your participation. Again, huge thanks to everyone who took part. Going through that thread when, you know, finding the winners and seeing everything and having gone through it obviously lots and lots of times because I'm that kind of person has been so nice. I can't imagine not doing this one year, you know. I have to do it this year. I was going to say next year and then I said this year, but then this year is correct. Life's confusing. So anyway, how are you all doing? So now we're on to finished projects. And I am counting 8 finished projects. And do you think that means that my project count has gone down somehow, you know, from whatever it is in the 50s right now? Absolutely not. I don't know why that doesn't happen. Why is it that? I don't know. Maybe because I keep casting on things, such as, it's somewhere here, the cherry puff sweater. Indeed, it is one of my finished objects, obviously. I did finish it a while ago because this is a design that has been out since the 24th of December, and I did announce it in like a short, very informal video snippet from Christmas Eve itself. So I hope you've been enjoying that. I've already seen some people have already knitted the pattern and that makes me so happy. It is definitely something quite outside my usual design wise. I'm more of the rustic yarn color work, traditional steek kind of gal, whereas this is a superwash DK weight hand-dyed merino with no steeks. But I did have a blast with the construction because this uses my good old pal, the contiguous method. So you can see how the shoulders just kind of build out here, and instead of increasing on every other round the way you normally do with sleeves, I decided to increase every round. So we just have a lot of stitches for the sleeve, which gives it this like flowy, oversized vintage sleeve vibe, which is exactly what I was going for. And we get obviously this simple eyelet pattern that comes down across the chest that just looks very elegant, and it's so simple. It's just eyelets, but it's quite impactful. And also length is modifiable, and actually so are the sleeves, because my very loyal test knitter, Aina, she just knitted the sleeves like this long and then decreased by a lot, and then she just had these short puff sleeves. So I've written a note about that in the pattern as well, in case you do want to do that as well. It's pretty straightforward in case you want it shorter sleeves. I'm even already working on a modified version of this sweater. That's how much I love this. It was so fast to knit, I couldn't put it down. And you know, the sleeves are almost the same size as the body, and you'd think that would take longer. But it kind of doesn't, because you're not working with such, you know, tight circumference that takes you longer because it's just more fiddly. It actually was a lot smoother and faster. So I really enjoyed the process of this as well. Very seamless, you know, top down, everything just kind of forms itself. Borderline potato chippy, you know, in the sense that it's kind of just mindless and you just go. The further down you go, the more mindless it gets, which is usually the case with my patterns. I get you to set up a couple of things to begin with, and once you pass that point, it's just like smoother and smoother sailing the more you go. And I don't know about you, I just like find that in my mind, I have more, I guess, brain power when a project is new. And the more I've done on a project, the more simple I need it to be. Maybe because I keep coming back to it after some breaks. And so yeah, I just prefer when things just get easier and easier the further down you go. And this one definitely fits that bill. And yeah, super thanks, shout out to Vilde of Lille Yarns in Norway, who gave me this yarn very spontaneously at Oslo Knitting Festival back when we did those kinds of things. Do you remember that, guys? Anyway, it was really, really nice of her. I just love this color. Basically went down something like, oh, I like that yarn, I think I'm gonna get that yarn. It's just like, you know what, I thought about giving you that yarn because that looked like your color. And I'm like, it is, thank you. So yeah, spoiled rotten, and I felt like returning the favor with a design. So yeah, I am thinking of making myself a second version in some modified something in time, which I don't know when, but I will. And I'm thinking of using more of a commercial superwash merino that I got from Lovecrafts. I think I've got Millamia something, which I'm quite interested to try. So you can just use whatever. I think you could even get away with something like Fino. This is really versatile when it comes to yarn. You could use a broad range of yarn and still get the right stitch and row gauge, I have found. So cool stuff. Now we're getting to the stuff that I no longer have here at hand, but I did film something, so I'll just be showing that when I'm talking about it. One is that I made yet another Tynn Bacalao by Tina Höglund, who is better known as Strikkesilla. I made this one for my cousin's baby daughter because she just had one. And I made it in this lovely white Polworth yarn that I was given by one of you guys years and years and years ago, and I finally found the project for it. Baby hats are a great single ball of yarn project. They don't really require a lot, and I think those hats are very useful. These kind of balaclava hats, not bacalao hats, but that's what it's called. Because, well, I talked to my sister who just had my nephew, and she said that that was one of the most useful things that I made her. So I made my cousin's baby one as well in white. The other thing that I made her is a Magnolia mini sweater. This is a pattern by Camilla Vod. As you all know, I have made myself the Magnolia sweater as a cardigan a good while ago, and yeah, I just wanted to make a little sweater, and I thought, well, there's a baby, that's an excuse. I hope she liked that sweater. I used Finkhof Merino, which is also a yarn that I was given by a podcast viewer a very, very long time ago, and I finally found what I wanted to make with it. And it's a really nice yarn, and I wouldn't normally know how to get my mitts on it because it's German merino, I believe, and quite local and really nice. I hope it softened up enough in the wash that my cousin will want to have her baby wear it. It's a whole like big point of discussion every time you want to knit for babies, and babies are actually, you know, they benefit from wearing pure, real, untreated wool, but parents often don't think that they should because of myths that exist that I've talked about a lot before. So that's always like a bit of a hurdle to get through, but hopefully, you know, she will have her wear that. I think it's a really lovely sweater, and I had a lot of fun making it. And the last thing, or things shall I say, that I made for my cousin's baby is a Link costume. Now, you may or may not know who Link is. Link is the main character in the Zelda video game that my cousin is crazy after. It's been her thing since probably before I was born. I don't know. She was 4 when I was born, so maybe not. But she's really into that game to the point that she wants to call her daughter Zelda. Like, we're there. I don't know what she's called. I don't know if they decided yet. But I made a baby Link costume out of some of that superwash merino yarn that I got from Lovecrafts, you know, the sort of more run-of-the-mill yarn, I guess. I think it was a combination of, you know, I think it was actually all Lang yarn, superwash merino, and DK. And it's so adorable. It was such a quick make. I just powered through a lot of Orphan Black episodes while knitting it, and before I knew it, I had both white trousers, a green Link jumper, and a green hat. So, and yeah, I did not have to include any note or anything to say that's what it was supposed to be. My cousin got it immediately and already had a Link necklace, pendant, and some brown beauties. So the costume is complete. I hope they liked it. And that's that. That was some baby knits that I rushed through before Christmas just for funsies, and then I had to cash out a lot to have it sent on a next day delivery from London to Norway, which let's not talk about that. But it got there in time. It's the main thing, that's what counts. I have made so much progress on my own garment front lately as well. I bound off finally the Löwethand Mama sweater by Strikkesilla again. I love her patterns, they're great. And yeah, here it is. Löwethand Mama, basically. Which I believe means dandelion mommy. And I made mine in dye gilpin lallen, which is a gorgeous yarn. It's this incredibly soft lamb's wool that have kind of 2 plies of 2-ply yarn, just loosely plied together. I would hardly call it plied. It feels like you're knitting with 2 strands, and it is quite splitty because of that. But it is so soft, and I haven't really followed the pattern much beyond the yoke. I had to cast on more stitches under the arm to get it closer to what my size is now compared to what it was before lockdown. So this is what it looks like now. There is no shaping for the body actually, but it does look like it because the rib does take in quite a bit, and I do like that silhouette quite a bit. Surprise, surprise. Sleeves I think came out maybe a bit snug, but I always do that. I don't know, maybe I just have bigger upper arms than my bust would suggest. Could be. Cuffs pretty ordinary. I guess my only kind of I guess is I feel like it's quite wavy in the front of the yoke. It's very subtle after blocking, but I would expect it to look a little bit more straight and not have this like extra space. I suspect this happened because most of the increases are done at this point, which is nice because this is where your shoulders are, so this is like your widest point. But sometimes if you're increasing for more than just your shoulders, i.e. your bust, which is going to be the case the larger your body mass is relative to your shoulders, this is a low designed hook, you may want to actually put the last bit of increases down as a raglan in a yoke. That really helps with bigger sizes, and I think I would have benefited from that. I think the shoulders are very wide. I wouldn't have needed them so wide, and there's clearly a lot of excess fabric here that I could have added further down the yoke rather than earlier. So in hindsight, that's a modification I could have made for sure. But without further blabber, it's done, and it is so nice. It feels so good. I'm just really, really pleased to have it done. It's one of those things that I cast on because I thought, you know what? Fairly big needles, certainly not small needles. It's a kind of DK sport yarn, and it's a stockinette sweater. It's going to be done so quickly. It's going to be done so quickly. I started it in March 2019, guys. Don't tell yourself lies like I do. So I only have 3 finished items left, and they've been finished very recently. There's one garment that I am so pleased with. You have no idea. I powered through this in a week. This kind of started with a bit of a situation where some clothing company or something had decided that they were going to be very inspired by Fable Knitwear's Forestberry cardigan, to the point that it all kind of looked the same, and they were like, no, actually it's very different. We haven't done anything wrong. And it's so frustrating when these things happen because legally speaking there is nothing you can do. It's just annoying. The law says it's fine if something aesthetically looks the same as long as the write-up is different, and there's no write-up for commercially sold clothes. So I just kind of wanted to buy the pattern in kind of, I guess, a bit of solidarity, and then I cast it on as happens, and didn't follow the pattern at all. So everything I'm going to tell you about this cardigan I am very pleased with, but do bear in mind didn't really follow the pattern. And I feel like this is what happens to you when you decide to design yourself. You just can't follow patterns anymore. You're just like, oh, well, I could do this other thing. I could do this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am really pleased with the changes I made, although some I made that made it not as good as it could have been because I cast on the wrong number of stitches. Anyway, I'm talking a lot. Let me show you what I made. Oh, here she is. The Forestberry cardigan, which I think the only thing I kept from the pattern in the end was the berries. Barely. Okay, so let me talk you through everything that I did. This is first of all a raglan, a bottom of raglan. Does this look like a raglan to you? Right, so that's where we're at. That's the modification level we'll be working at here. There's so much. I can't take myself seriously. So first thing I thought, you know, I'll cast on the stitch count for the body. That shouldn't be too hard. But then I thought, you know what, I want a steek. So I still have the steek here. I didn't actually cut it up yet because this yarn isn't very steekable. I used Jacob yarn and Blacker Yarn's Breeds series. It's their DK weight Jacob yarn, and it's You think it's very rustic and can be steeked. It cannot be. I tried. So I wanted to do a steek, and that means that the button bands that are incorporated into the cardigan that is worked flat, I had to take those stitches out. Right, shouldn't be too hard. And I thought also I don't want to have the waist shaping, which means you cast on fewer stitches than for your full bust, so that you increase up to the bust. So I was going to knit that stitch count. But I was off by 10 stitches and only found out when I was done with the body, and that was a bit unfortunate. So it's a bit tight on me, but it's fine. It's supposed to be, actually. So that was in a way following the pattern, even though it was with a slightly different stitch count. But it did mean that I had to do a kind of a cross button band rather than a along the cardigan direction, knitting direction button band. So you get these that are picked up this direction, right? So that's different. As I didn't change much from the actual forest berry pattern itself, but I do use my bubble trick, which I also used on the Magnolia Mini, which is where, you know, when you come back the next round after you've done the bubbles and you found that there's a very loose stitch just before the bubble. I just pull that stitch out and then I hoop it around the bubble twice. And it makes the stitch come back to its regular size and it makes the bubbles pop. Like, look at that. Popping all the way. So, can't recommend that. It's such a simple trick and it saved all my bubbles and just solved 2 problems in 2 hoops. So anyway, I got up to the underarm, right? I'd done the body. I realized I was off by 10 stitches, but I was like, whatever. It will just have to be. It will be tight, but it's supposed to be a negative ease cardigan. And then I looked at the sleeves. I'm like, oh, those are some very tight sleeves. I know I have, again, we're talking about me having apparently more arm circumference than my bust size would suggest. So I was like, okay, let me math this out and do the sleeves just based on whatever stitch count I know I like to have at the cuff and based on what I like to have at the upper arm, and just increase evenly till I get to that. So I did that for both sleeves. So they are the same, which is an achievement for me right now. So the cuffs are the same, like length, you know, the ratio from cuff to sleeve is as the pattern says. But we're dealing with a totally different stitch count so that I can at least fit into the upper arms, even though they still ended up too tight. Why did I do that? It's just my life, guys. So anyway, I'd done the sleeves, I'd done the body, I was gonna join them together and knit in the round, and then you're supposed to decrease for a raglan. But I don't get on with raglans. Me and raglans, we're not pals. So I thought, I've been exploring this satin sleeve in one go thing, and I'm gonna use this pattern to experiment with that and, you know, learn from everything that I knit the way I always like to do. And so I started putting this stuff, all my numbers into Excel, the way I do when I grade for my own patterns, and put the numbers so that I was decreasing for the sleeves every 4th round until I was about up here, right? And I put those stitches aside. Well, before I put them aside, I decreased by knitting 2 stitches together across from here to here, and that's how I got this amazing poof. Then I left those stitches aside. Whereas for the body, I really only decreased up until here, until I was happy with the shoulder width that I wanted, and then just knit it straight up. And I did that whilst having the stitches on the needles and everything in one go. And this is just thanks to my Excel spreadsheet that I could do that. And then it just all came together here. I put the stitches for the shoulders aside, and I worked the fronts separately flat and the back flat. And then I put in some kind of ziggurat type short row so that I could dip the neckline in the back a bit, and also do something similar for the front, so it's the same at the front and back. That's kind of important. This did also require me to do a particular type of neckline shaping, otherwise I'll just get a tight slit for the head hole, which is not great. So I kind of did that as per I normally do in my own patterns, and picked up for the neckline later, and then I picked up button bands along there. So I basically kind of did nothing according to the pattern, and nothing bad to say about the pattern at all. I guess over time realized what fits my body and also what I like to knit and how I like to do it, and I just felt very motivated to try this, and I am so happy with how I did it all. You'll definitely see me explore the things that I came up with here in my own patterns in the future. Not stuff from her pattern in my, that would be rude, but the stuff that I came up with myself now, obviously. This won't be the last time you see this because, ooh, so much fun. And you can see the faux seam that's happening here. And I'm just, yes, so pleased with it. And I had so much fun with it. Modifying patterns is the best. That's like one of the things that I really enjoyed when going through people's versions of my garment patterns in the KAL. Just seeing people do their own takes, you know, not just changing the colors, but like really modifying it to their own fit and liking. And I'm just like, yes, oh, it's the best. So yeah, I like to do that too. I think it only makes us better as knitters when we kind of try and, you know, work from a knitting pattern and do our own spin on it. I see people do it in sewing all the time, and I really want to see it more in knitting. It's good. So that's the final product. I just need to secure and cut up the cardigan opening and sew on some dainty little buttons, because I made some very small buttonholes on purpose, because I want to get like those, you know, like bulb buttons. They're just round, you know, that makes sense. Of course buttons are round, but they're like bulbs. I don't know, shiny, vintage. So yeah, Forest Berry cardigan by Fable Knitwear. Originally as a raglan, so for everyone who actually prefers raglans than me overcomplicating everything, then you can definitely go and check out that pattern. Helene is really, really cool. She's also from Norway. She designs a lot of vintage stuff. Big shout out. She's cool. Did I not mention that? I think I did. In Blacker Yarn Jacob. Jacob yarn is normally known to be really harsh, and I'm not going to say that this is soft, but it is a lot softer than Jacob yarns that I worked with in the past. So I'm really pleased with this. It's a very, looks like hardy wearing cardigan. I don't think this one's going to be worn out anytime soon. It looks very strong and sturdy. And oh yeah, I used DK weight yarn even though the pattern calls for fingering weight, because I wanted to, and I saw the gauge and I thought it's gonna work, it's gonna be fine. And I've had some problems with this yarn before because it was going to be a kind of textured cardigan. It was one by Carrie Westerman, and I couldn't get the stitch definition with this yarn. There's just no stitch definition, but I thought, you know what, if the stitch definition required for these berries is good enough in fingering weight yarn on a 20 stitch gauge, and certainly it's going to work out with this yarn. So I finally found a home for this yarn, which I'm very happy about. That's I think all I had to say about the Forest Berry cardigan. Really enjoyable process. It's not often that I am so monogamous in my knitting that I can finish a cardigan from cast on to bind off. I think my flatmate's rubbing off on me because she does that. She's like a one project at a time person, and she does a garment, and then she does a sock pattern, and then she does a garment. I'm like, you like finish stuff, you know? Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, I've started to do that now. Don't be too optimistic, it's not gonna last. Now, my final finished objects have not been blocked, and I've not woven in the ends yet. So if you wanna say that doesn't mean it's finished, it's finished. It's finished if I say it's finished. I will weave in the ends and I will block it. But I had to show you now because how cute is this? How cute it is. It is so cute. So a friend of mine's having twins, which is kind of wild. So I have to knit for her. I'm gonna be making a lot of baby knits. I'm probably gonna design a lot of baby knits because I'm just like, that's a lot of babies. Another friend of mine's pregnant too. Some other friends of mine pregnant. My sister had a baby, and everyone's having babies. I just finished university. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I made this. This is adorable. This is the Baby Bear Balaclava by Knitting for Olive. She has so many adorable baby knits. You should check out her patterns. They're just so freaking cute. And look at that. I mean, this is supposed to be a Knitting for Olive merino light fingering weight yarn held together with silk mohair, but I just used Tove by Sandnes, very similar to Finul. Again, I hope the baby mom is gonna think it's suitable for babies. I certainly think it is, because it's gonna be nice and warm and light, which is what counts. It's so cute, and I am so impressed with this pattern. Like, there's so much thought put into the construction of this hat, so many steps involved to get all this shaping happening here. I know the back of the head looks really pointy now. I told you it's not blocked. When it gets blocked, I'm sure that's going to smooth out. The ear shaping, you do all this in one go. Like, it's really incredible. I am very impressed with all the thought that's been put into the fit and the drape and everything of this. Would highly recommend. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say. I hope the blocking is going to make the neckline kind of not roll up the way it does now. I'm actually pretty confident that it probably will roll back down on its own after that. If not, I'll just unpick the rib and do it on a small needle. Shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, knitting frollo, baby bear balaclava, baby knits. I should have put in a warning that if you're my friend watching this, don't watch this, but I haven't. So can you just pretend that you're surprised when you get it, or just be like, oh, I thought this was for your other friend who has twins, as if I do. Anyway, those are all my finished knits. Yep, I've been busy. So what we have left now is all acquisitions. That's it. That's the rest of the episode. Some people like those sections and some people do not. So, you know, optional viewing, and thanks for watching. But I'm gonna just jump straight into that because I've got things. This has been a good year. Like 2020 was not a good year, but it was a good year in terms of me not buying all the things all the time because I went to all the yarn shops in all the countries and all the yarn festivals. Like I've been using up more than I bought, which should really always be the case. But yeah, but I did buy myself a little Christmas present, which is this Pinkhazel bag, because I love me a Pinkhazel bag, guys. I really do. And this one had a deer on it, so I was forced, basically. It had a deer. What could I do, you know? It's really nice and big. It holds a sweater project of mine that you're not gonna get to see because it's a design, but I'm gonna tell you as much as it's like a kind of sort of maybe-ish sweater version of Synchestra, but not really, but kind of. Yeah, that's what we're going with right now. So this is a Pinkhazel bag. Love her bags. She is based in the Netherlands, and I have more bags of her than I can count, and I need to stop, but I guess Brexit's gonna help with that. Ooh. I also finally received the yarn that I'd bought from Knit With Attitude. I got this bag even with it for the yarn extravaganza thingy thing that they were doing, and I bought 5 skeins of Hillesvåg Tinde. I don't know why that didn't come to me right away. I have some of it caked up here. I got some of it caked up upstairs. I was making a cardigan with it. That is a design of mine, but then I got all the numbers wrong. And I have to do it again. So that one's not going to come out as soon as I'd hoped. Oh well. Gives you some time to knit some of my previous ones, you know. It's not all bad, but it was really annoying. I had done a whole skein and then I was like, oh, these numbers are wrong. Oh dear. Yeah. So I've got 5 skeins, so that's hopefully going to be a really cool cardigan. Another acquisition I am very excited to show you is the Knit With Attitude 10-year anniversary book. This is a collab project kind of between Knit With Attitude and some of the people who work with Laine Magazine. So that's why you can recognize kind of the aesthetic, but it is a Knit With Attitude book. Knit With Attitude is my local yarn shop in London. I do have several because I am that lucky. They're run by Maya, who comes from Trondheim, same as me. And that shop has definitely played a part in my own skein and knits journey. So I was very excited when Maya asked me if I wanted to contribute with a pattern. And so I said yes, and then I was like, oh, now? Yes, okay, we'll do it. Oh, I want to do a sweater. What can I do? And then I looked up, you know, the yarns that they have. I know all the yarns that they have. And they carry Hillesvåg pelt wool, and they have Wollmeise, and I was like, well, that I can do in time with a PhD at the same time, because it's chunky, so it's quick, and I wanted to put color work all over it. And it looks like this, and we called it Eventyr because I used the yarn Wollmeise, and there's a phrase that says bak den syvende blommen, which is like from fairy tale Eventyr. That's that. Can they just like do all my photos? Wouldn't that be something? It was just, Laine, can you just do all my photos? Can you just like that would be just, I want this on all my photos. It's amazing, and it's like really taken off online, like people who just saw the like preview photos from this book, like my particular pattern was just like, whew, trending like 20 pounds. Me. So it's been very exciting to be part of this book. There's a lot of other really great designs in here as well from amazing designers who most of them I've had the fortune to meet back in the day when we met people. And it's a great book. You can see everything on Latitude's Instagram page. There's a Ravelry preview page for this book, and there is Latitude's own website. So yeah, do check out this book if you haven't already. You can get it directly from their website. I feel like I've talked about it enough to, you probably already know this. But yeah, I'm very excited. I think, is this the first time I've been in a book internationally? I think so. That's really cool. I really hope you like the sweater so far. I've only heard good things about it. Oh my god. So that's really fun. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you that. So another thing that I received shortly before Christmas was from KnitPro, also known as Knitter's Pride, and they asked me if I wanted to review their new knitting needle gift set, Knit and Sip. Kind of looks like this. I'm trying not to like drop everything. So it's a needle set full of wooden needles, and I'm not going to review it in this video. I'm gonna have to do that in a coming podcast episode. So stay tuned for that if you're curious. I do want to apologize that I didn't get the review out in time before Christmas, given that this is a gift set. I do have a lot of thoughts about the set, both good and bad. If you don't think that reviews should be negative, then maybe don't watch it, because I'm going to be giving my honest opinion. It's not a sponsorship, it's a review. So that's what's going to come down the pipeline with this set. I did try it out already. I made the Magnolia Mini in it. And yeah. My opinion shall be known in the coming episode, I suppose. Another thing I have spoiled myself with is yet another forest themed, woodland themed knitting project bag that I saw on someone's Instagram profile, and I was like, oh, I like that print, so I got myself the exact bag pictured, I think. This is by Candy Skull Craft Shop on Etsy. Candy Skull Craft Shop, yeah, on Etsy. So I got this one there. Arrived really quickly, and it's just, you guys know I'm a sucker for these prints, right? So yeah, you can see it closely. I mean, it's just really, really cute. But yeah, this is her kind of card that came with the bag, so you can look up her bags. And of course, the bag that I myself chose from Ragnarsdottir bags. She sent me 3, I got to choose one, and I chose this one because woodland motifs. Do I need to spell it out? I just love them. I hope that focused. Like I said, my camera's not really been with it. She also included 4 really, really nice skeins. This bright yellow here and this lovely grey. I've got 2 of each. So this yarn is called Dees by Upspunne Yarn, and it's 100% Icelandic wool with 120 meters in a little 23-gram filled donut. So thank you so much. It was so nice of you to include these. I mean, yellow yarn, I had to include that put that in my new yellow bag. Here are her contacts if you want to look up her bags. Another thing I received shortly before Christmas was 10 years in the making by Kate Davies. I have followed her for almost all of those 10 years, and I am very excited to have this booklet. It is both consisting of patterns that she has come up with since starting this particular club, I guess. I don't know what she calls them, but it also includes some of the old hits. So it has the old paper dolls pattern. You can see that here. I myself have made this pattern, but modified with Doctor Who TARDISes and bow ties, because of course I did. And not only did I do that, but I did it in a Marius jumper style. I believe this book also includes the owl sweater, which was my first sweater that I knitted myself. I even made it twice. It also includes the Carbeth sweater, which was very popular like 2 years ago or so. So yeah, it's both mostly new designs, but those are the kind of old designs that come with it as well, which I previously did not own in print, so I'm very happy about that. And I will just add that to my Kate Davies pile here. Where is it? Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 booklets. I have them all. And there's also 1, 2 books and 3, 4 booklets. So yeah. Someone's a bit of a fangirl. And finally we're getting to the Christmas presents. Understandably not as much as previous years. I was celebrating here without any family members, so my mum and my sister sent me a couple of things, one of which was a knitting book. So this is the 4th Marius book that's come out, and I did wish for this book, so when I'm being snarky about this book, please do be aware that this was a book that I really wanted for Christmas. But I have to laugh. It's the 3rd book in Norway that's come out for the Marius sweater in just the past less than a decade. Yeah, there's the Marius Strikkebok, there's Marius Inspiration, and then there's now this one, Marius. Do we need 3 books? Yes, apparently we do, because we have all 3. These are all for the same freaking pattern. So the Marius sweater is the sweater pattern that came out in the mid-50s in Norway. And so this book came out, I want to say like 2012. This chair is rotating without my consent. I don't like it. And I've knitted so much from this book. This was back when I could barely afford yarn. So I was like, I had one book with lots of patterns. I was going to knit everything. So it's been very well loved. And then very shortly after, someone else came out with a Marius book, and I have to say the execution here was a lot better. And it came like, it had like a 50-50 overlap with the previous books. There was a lot of patterns I didn't have, so of course I needed to get this book too. And it's bigger, so that's nice. And then now they come out with another one, and they're all different publishers every time. This one's more colourful. They played more around with different colour combinations. There's some alternative shapes, like the bell sleeves happening on this one, which I think this one was made by Sana, which like, hi Sana, which I don't know if you are, but this is the cool stuff. I guess the patterns on you as well. I don't know if they're just rehashed versions of the old ones. I couldn't tell you, but you know, when you started collecting something, you just have to. So I haven't actually looked through the book that much. Yeah, I just kind of wanted it, and so I got it from my mum and my sister. And that means that we are finally done with acquisitions. Wow, this is quite the beast of an episode, but not as long as I thought it was going to be. So we have time to waffle a bit at the end. But if you were just here for anything to do with knitting, then I will see you guys next week. So I thought I would like wrap up this episode with talking about where I am at in life. Just the personal little nugget at the end of the episode, you know, the sort of extracurricular content to the episode, if you will. And there's not really much to say, because how can you make plans for this year? Many of us had made plans for 2020 and had to change them. It does not include me. I was like, I will dig myself into a hole in the ground and only work on my thesis and come out when I'm done. And now I'm done, and I've been for a year saying that when I'm done with my thesis, I will be traveling Europe, because I haven't done that yet. Back when I started my PhD, had very little time and money, so when either presented itself to me, I would use that to go to Norway. Now I have the opportunity to go many places in Europe, and I can't, and which is like the least of our problems right now. So I'm kind of just sitting here with all these great plans that I had to do all the things when the PhD was over, and there's just not that opportunity right now, and I'm kind of like still not sure what I will be spending this year doing. Of course, working on Skeindeer Knits and coming out with all my pattern ideas and stuff is a obvious choice there, but I try to look at the bright side too, in that there's a lot of things that I did not want to do this year that I don't have to do, like graduation ceremonies. I don't like them. I didn't go to my undergrad ceremony, and this time I was like, yeah, but it's a PhD graduation. You kind of have to go to that. You have to put on those robes and do all the silly formalities that I'm just like, oh, I don't want. And like family has to come over. I'm like, nah. So I don't have to do that. That's nice. PhD viva, you know, when you defend the thesis, don't have to do that in person. So if I start crying, I can switch off my camera. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but you know, like, yeah, I will be doing a lot of the things I've been dreading this year from the comforts of my own home. And this home has been so much more comfortable this year. That's a big, you know, if we're going to think about the positives of 2020, I mean, the first 3/4 of the year were pretty hellish around here. I, as you already know, wasn't really happy with the home situation. I'm not gonna make it out to be that anyone was like a bad person, but chemistry was like down to zero. We had very different wants and wishes for what we wanted a flat share to be like, and me as the founder of the flat share was a bit frustrated with how my vision for starting the flat share wasn't exactly coming to fruition, shall we say. This room used to be said flatmate's bedroom, and there's a patio door here, which meant that he kind of sort of decided the patio was his, and his to do with whatever time of the day or night, to do with as he pleased. And I lost a lot of sleep over it. I was very anxious, like anxiety up to here. I am very, like, if I can't relax in my own time and space, it is a massive anxiety trigger. And so I was just like a little scared bunny the whole time, pretty much, for no like logical reason. It just kind of is how I respond to these things, and there's just none of that anymore. It's really nice. I think back to what I used to be, and it feels absurd to me that it was like that for 3 years. 3 years that I worked on my PhD thesis and got it done. That's pretty wild to me. So that's the sort of things that I guess has made things a lot better for me. Now, having said that, 1 in 30 in London has COVID, so, but it's like a pretty big number. The rates are pretty high. It's not great. I obviously can't go and see anyone because of that. We just go for walks alone. I get through a lot of audiobooks that way. So what's to come in 2021? I don't know, and I think that's okay. I'm fine with that. Whatever I don't do that I normally would have done, I'm just gonna sit down and knit and go for audiobook walks and just kind of allow myself this break that the world has kind of weirdly presented to me. Because as much as it sucks that there's a global pandemic, I will say that I have personally really benefited from being permitted to take this break and this time out from having to keep up with the world all the time and all the events and all the social things, and just be able to like be in my own space at my own pace. Just don't want to give away like everything from my life, but I had a massive kind of life burnout back in sort of 2017. It had kind of already started 2015, but 2017 it got worse. 2018 it was still pretty bad. 2019 stressed, so stressed. Not many people get to recover from these things because there's always going to be new demands and new things that you need to do. But with lockdown, at least there's less, and I think for many of us who have been through burnouts actually have been able to come out of that. And I think, I guess also the last thing I want to say is that I am sure it probably looks like I am getting a lot of things done, and especially now that the PhD write-up is done, then surely I will have time to do all the things. But the truth is that I have left most things in my life hanging by a thread in the wake of my PhD thesis completion that I now have to attend to, that I now have to sort out and do properly. And it's going to be a while until I'm back to a sort of state where I can, you know, do anything extra, shall we say. So yeah, I'm just glad I finally have time to attend to those things, you know. That's great. So, well, this was a very unstructured ramble, but that's what's up here. I'm really just taking things very slow. I think a lot about, you know, don't get worked up by the things you can't control. Look at the things that you can control. And I'm like, well, I could do with taking more walks, I could cook more food, I can knit more, I can, you know, get through the books I always said I wanted to read. And that's what I'm doing with the time that we've been given. So that's a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. And I have now been given permission by you all to say, please remember to click like, leave a comment if you want to, and subscribe if you want to watch more of my videos. See, I can do that. I'm a proper YouTuber. But seriously though, thanks so much to everyone who kind of gave me, I guess, permission to say those things. I always feel like it's so trite, but a lot of people do, like myself, to be fair, benefit from being told, being reminded to you know, like and comment, subscribe if you want. So that's all I had to say for today. I feel like it's the 5th time I'm saying that, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.